Hello everybody. Today we will be taking apart this old Dell and fabbing certain parts of it up to get ready to install our new parts in this nice little Dell sleeper PC. And remember, always at the beginning, make sure it's not plugged in, not powered on. You can always hold the power switch to dissipate any kind of built up energy that may be in it, and you should be good from there. So to start, we're going to take apart the power supply screws, the captive screws on the front side panel, and these other screws on the back side panel, along with the PCI bracket. We'll lay it down now so that we can slide this front panel off. Next, we're going to lift it up. We have 3 little push clips here. You just snap them off or push them forward, and then this hinges. And just hinge it forward, take it off. On the back panel, we'll have to lay it down. This back one, we'll slide it backward. Alright, now we'll turn it around so that we can go on this side, and we'll start working from above. Alright, now that we got it turned on its side, if you have an anti-static wristband, you're more than welcome to use it. If not, just touch your power supply, make sure you're grounded on the computer, and we should be good. The first thing that we need to be doing is disconnecting probably our power supply and any other thing that you can get a hold of easily. We have our hard drive here. We have SATA power and data. We can probably go ahead and access this hard drive and take it out. Just 4 screws. There's a couple screws up here for the CD-ROM drive. Slide the hard drive out. Now we'll have better access to our 24 pin. Pull that out. We can get our CD-ROM drive power and data, SATA cables. Got a fan header here for our exhaust fan. We've got our motherboard power 4-pin, our CPU fan. Let's see if we can't get this power supply slid out of here. There's a couple of cable managing clips here, and then I have to take this fan out. I guess I wired it pinned directly into this SATA when I installed this a long time ago, so we'll have to take this out with the power supply. Yeah, just slide it, tilt it forward, and then you can lift everything out. Looks like I forgot on the back to take the screws out for the fan here, so take the video card out. There's no retention clip on this one. Front panel connectors, audio, and all these other things. They have a little clip. I'm going to go ahead and leave the CPU connected, and we'll take the motherboard screws out. We have 9 of them. Grab it by the motherboard, just kind of slide it over, tilt it up and out. Now we can slide this CD-ROM drive forward we will go ahead and take the USB and the front audio connectors out, as well as the power switch. So this little LED just pops out, and the power button just pushes out. This has got a couple screws right here. Or a screw. And then it just slides out. Now you're left with a bare bones case shell. Another thing I didn't notice is on the back panel where the IO shield is going to be, it looks like we're going to have to cut this out, so that's another thing that we're going to have to mod. Alright, now that we're outside, we're going to start with this front button and intake fan. We're going to get some things marked out. So we're going to flip this up. We're actually going to have to reinstall this button. So that way we know where our fan cannot go past, so we don't have to do any other modification. And I got a couple of screws just to help hold it in when we get it put about where we want it. Then we can get this thing marked out. So I can see where it's overlapping, where we had the power LED. That's okay. We'll move it. We'll just move it down a little bit. So we're gonna put it right there. We actually got a couple of screw holes that'll help us out here, that we can get somewhat started here. So that'll be good. We'll reuse those holes. Don't have to do anything as far as that. These other ones, the top two, looks like we're gonna have to trim a little bit. Not too bad. So get this pushed up against it. I see right here we're gonna need a little bit out up here and a little bit over there. Alright. And if we can't, this one may be a little more off than this one since it's on an angle. We may not put this one in there, but that'll be okay. 3 is plenty. And as far as this button, originally this button was here in this hole, so we're gonna have to move it down one hole, and we're gonna have to trim it out a little bit more, I think. So we'll just do that right there. And if we want to open this up a lot more, let this thing breathe, we can cut some of this out here. And we're just going to be marking along the edge of these where the fan is. And same side. Alright, we'll make sure those are really good before I cut them. So I have this hole drilled. Just be careful, it is going to make a little bit of sharp edges. We can file that down later. Don't forget to wear gloves, safety glasses. The next part, I'm going to be dremeling. You may also want to consider some kind of mask to filter this out, because you don't want any of this aluminum dust. You don't want to be breathing it in. It's not good for you. So just a few things to consider before doing any kind of modification. Alright, that's what that looks like. Everything fits good. I'm probably going to have to put a little bit of, maybe a few washers here. Holes were a little big. Other than that, that turned out good. That'll definitely free up a lot more flow through there. The next thing we're going to tackle is the motherboard, an IO shield, and this actually has a little insulator cover. We'll take that off. We don't need that anymore. And I would wipe this down so that We don't have any dust touching the motherboard. I know we're not going to power it right now, but just as a fitment. And here's the motherboard reveal. It's a Gigabyte Aorus Elite Ice Edition B850M for AMD. So we're going with AMD. Now essentially all we're doing is putting this in here, get it lined up as best we can, because we know we're going to have to cut the I/O shield back here. So alright, looks like we just follow this line at the top and over here on the sides and a little bit in the bottom. So let me get this all cut up and I'll show you the finished product back here. Alright, that's what this looks like. I've already deburred it, filed it down a little bit. It's a little bit big, but the I/O shield fills it up really nice. The next thing that we're going to work on is cutting this piece out so that the graphics card, because it's going to come pretty far into this, so we'll actually leave where at least one hard drive can be put on here and just cut it out from this, basically the second one. And to note on this one, there is a few rivets that need to be drilled out first. These two for sure, and this third one. I think I'm actually going to leave this little section here. This shouldn't interfere with the graphics card because I'm going to have a fan here that's going to be sticking out past this anyway. So I think we'll just cut that line right up there and leave a few of this. It'll give it a little bit more rigidity as well. Alright, that's what that looks like. I had to bend this down here and wiggle it back and forth to get it to break because it was such an awkward angle to get it to cut. And then on your rivets, I forgot to say, you just drill them out a little bit and then they pop out. So now the next step we're going to go to is to finish our Dremel work. We're going to cut the motherboard for the back plate. So we'll get this measured out where it needs to be at and get it cut. Alright, this is what this looks like back here. Make sure on all of the cutting you deburr very good because you do not want anything to come loose and make it contact with your motherboard or any other components, because then all this work will be for a lot of nothing. So let's just make sure we clean up when we're done. Edge and deburr everything really well. It'll help us with our fingers and help your components in the future. Our next step, I believe we are done with the cutting now. So the only thing we have left is to drill about 1,000,000 holes. And for that I made some 120 and 92 millimeter fan templates. The 120 we use for the PSU on the top, and the 392s we will use for the GPU down at the bottom to let some fresh air come in there. So I will get these positioned where I want them, and we will start cutting, or drilling the holes I should say. I might try to save these tags, I may not. This is the bottom, it doesn't matter. Maybe I can move them inside, put back here or something, so that in the future if someone ever opens it up they can look at it and have a nice little surprise. Also, this tag up here, I think I'm going to keep. It's right on the edge of where the fan sits for the PSU. So I may just not drill a couple of these holes at the top. It's not going to make that big of a difference. And that way I can save this tag. Or maybe I might just drill just a little bit of it, or like one or something, but I'll figure that out. We'll get these holes drilled. So I actually was able to rip these apart. They're like perforated around some of the edges, so they came off in parts. But I just wanted to show you a do not throw away. That is correct. We will not be throwing this thing away. We're going to let it get new life and hopefully last another 17 years. So there's a little Easter egg for someone in the future. wants to find out some information about this old Dell. Alright, now on to cutting these holes. Alright, so we have these placed where we want them. I just wanted to say that when you start to drill these, drill with a smaller bit first, and then you can finish it with a bigger one. Alright, we just finished the top of for the PSU and the bottom as well. Down there, the 3 fans. Only thing I have left to do is to finish deburring. I ran out of Dremel bits for that, so I've still got to do that and that. But overall, I got this side. I was able to get this side done, and overall, it turned out pretty good. This right here, it does look nice, I think. This was a lot of work to pre-drill with a smaller bit, and then again with the correct size bit, and then also deburring all of this. This is a lot of work. I'm glad that I did it to show that I can do it. However, in hindsight, I would probably just cut out a single piece down here. For one, it would allow for more airflow, would make it a little less rigid, but it's a lot less work. I think that would be the best solution on this going forward if you want to do any of these, and as well as myself, this is how I'm going to be doing going forward, is going to be cutting out a solid piece. This turned out really well. Doing one of these for the aesthetics is not that difficult. Really, just to do one is okay. But not 3 of them down there. I will say we've got all the deburring done everywhere, so we're going to set this aside. What we have left is to modify this front panel, and the plan is right here on some of this plastic. It's right behind the power button and the hard drive light. We're going to just cut a little bit of this open to allow some more fresh air to be sucked through without any kind of impedance. And the next thing is behind this slot, we're going to take this floppy drive and this USB audio panel out. We're going to have to cut this piece of plastic that holds that in, and then we're going to pop this out. Alright, I was able to save this bottom part, kind of make it look a little nicer inside down there. But I'm also going to have to, I'm going to have to cut this out. This is where the floppy drive went. I need to cut this out and drill out these rivets, pop the floppy drive cage out, and then I'll be able to put in one of our upgrades here. Just a SD, USB, and micro USB headphone jack, just combo. Give it a little bit more I/O on the front since there wasn't really much. So I'm just modding that to put it in there. And I'll be back with you shortly. Alright, there's the front intake cut out. And the floppy drive cage is cut out now. And here's the bracket that was holding it. Like I said, just a few rivets, and then it on one side it hinges out of these little clips. So, alright, we got everything done. There is the PSU done. And down there for the GPU, I have a lot of deburring left to do. I ran out of Dremel bits. So that is it for this episode. The next episode, we will talk about the parts that we're going to be putting in here and going over why I chose the specific parts. You already seen the one. So it's going to be an AMD system. And it's a pretty good motherboard. Got recommended from Hardware Unboxed. Said it had really good VRM thermals, which is a very important aspect when you're building in these smaller cases. You don't want a high heat source, and you want everything that's in there to be able to cool efficiently. So that is it for this episode. I appreciate it. If you have any comments or want to see anything in particular, or want to know how I got some of these measurements or the tools that I used, let me know. And again, thank you, and we'll talk to y'all later.